Oh.
Hey,
Hi.
who's
Hi.
introing us?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Weird.
Hello.
Weird. Yeah.
I am on the wrong podcast. This is awkward.
I am a stranger
Ooh,
in this
is weird.
strange land.
Yeah. We're back. This is the Dude Cast, and this week Kristy is hosting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Our first, well, no, we had Alec guest host last season, right? Our first guest host for this season.
Yes.
Well, yeah, first guest host, second guest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. Now that we've got that
ironed out.
sorted. And yeah, I think we can officially consider this a crossover episode because I have a little treat.
You have a
little
treatsy?
treatsy?
Some treatsy
A
pieces.
little
treatsy?
treatsy, no pietsies, but definitely a little treatsy for a little bit later that I think will really cement this as a Goose Chase crossover episode.
Okay.
In
That's
the-
pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
In the event that we gain any first-time listeners, maybe we should clarify. Our esteemed Drog.
Yeah. That's who I am.
Esteemed.
That's what my name is.
Steamy, yes, he's very, steamy.
And our esteemed Kristy do a podcast called Goose Chase.
Yeah, all right.
That is
All right.
That's
all we do. We just say all right back and forth
That's
on
the whole
it.
show.
It's a research
Surprisingly entertaining.
podcast. It is surprising.
It is-
I don't know why anyone listens.
No. I was going off the joke about how the all right was the only thing that you did. No, that wasn't supposed to be a dig. No, the actual podcast is very entertaining. We recommend checking it out. But this is the Three Dudes podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
In our second season,
Second episode.
third season, second episode,
Fourth episode, third season, second series.
second chronicle.
Okay, is this
second
like a British series
But it's
or
yes.
an American season?
But it's all
That's
part
how it
of
works.
Season of a
right?
British series.
and it's all part of the pre-dynastic saga that encompasses a lot of the extended Dude universe lore.
The Dudeverse,
Or the
if you
dude.
will.
Yes.
Yeah, you can check out our wiki to get all the timeline details. But suffice it to say, I am Slam.
I am Ham.
I am Drog.
I'm here too.
And I am also here.
Yeah, so second episode of season 3. We really have kind of taken our sweet time getting back to the podcast.
There's been some things going on in lives.
Yeah, I went on a bender for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I just disappeared.
Just washed up on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, right. So I had to like find my way home, and
Yeah.
it was a mess.
Oh, it's
Ooh.
terrible.
I got kidnapped by ISIS.
Yeah.
It's awful.
You might have seen that on, the news.
I joined ISIS and then kidnapped you.
They didn't even have cable.
and that was
Terrible.
You had to go through a long process to join
It's
ISIS.
really hard to join ISIS, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, you think they're just taking anybody because they're losing territory left and right, but there's a long application.
No, yeah, and then like a background check for some reason.
Yeah, they
Except they're looking for stuff that you've done wrong.
Also, there's like a part of it that you have to tell them.
Saddles.
You have to tell them like
Kinky.
if you have tattoos
Yeah.
or like birthmarks, you have to tell them in detail every one you have.
Oh, yeah. I know
Oh
that.
wait, no, I'm sorry. That is the application to the FBI. I once
Yeah, it's easy
I
to
was
get those
thinking
two
the
mixed
wrong
up.
thing.
Wait,
It's-
is that real?
It actually wasn't the FBI, but it was to a crime lab, and you had to in detail describe every tattoo you have, and it was not a very big space, and I have felt like I was going to have to add an additional sheet of paper, and I don't have that many tattoos.
Yeah. Well, maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they don't get like a whole lot of applicants that have tattoos.
Also, it's very awkward explaining a half sleeve of a gnome smoking a pipe while standing on a floating piece of land.
I assure you, I'm not on drugs.
Right?
Not applicable. Tattoo cursed. Continues to move around body and change form.
That would make that sort of application pretty difficult.
Takes the form of an ancient goat demon.
Named
Staring-
Dick Cheney.
Staring directly at it for prolonged periods causes madness.
Yeah, okay, so we're back with the Dude Cast.
Yeah, sorry it took so
Yes.
long.
Yeah. So, it's the end of February.
Yeah.
We're on episode 2.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's not great.
Yeah, it's second month, second episode.
Yeah,
That's
right.
good.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it. It's hard because we do D&D on Tuesdays as well, and because it seems to be the only day that
Everyone
anybody.
has, yeah.
collectively.
Right.
Which is odd.
Yeah.
Which is probably why we chose this day for the podcast anyway.
Yep, that's more or less how this day came
It's
around.
just so that's what it is. Sorry, we're doing D&D. What we could do is just blow up all of our friendships from the D&D group and just stop doing it. we could just
blow up all of our friendships.
just like unfriend each other and like, you know.
obliterate them.
I see a little problem with that because you all play D&D, so
Yeah.
you would have to blow up this friendship, but then
Yeah, naturally.
you'd also blow up the dude cast.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So just stop doing all of it.
Yeah, we would just stop doing the show together and then no one would be upset about us.
I think
Stop being
that's
friends.
Yes, I think that's wise. We should
Right.
really just stop hanging out altogether.
Right. Anyway, see you guys.
Yeah, right.
We're fucked, aren't we?
I kind of think we might be fucked. I don't
It's
know.
possible.
I don't know. I don't feel that fucked. If I'm just gonna be like outright like direct with this one, I don't feel that fucked this week.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
Oh man, I always feel fucked,
I feel fucked.
and I'm not ever on the podcast.
I know. I'm fucked as fuck.
I have a healthy list I've been saving up
For months and months
for
of
like
bad
a whole
news.
year.
But no, I honestly I feel kind of good this week. I got a promotion I've been wanting for about a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Which is really good news for me.
You went up from floor mopper to fry cook.
Yep.
Moving up in the world, right?
Yep.
Good times at the Krusty Krab.
I just have to. I wear a different kind of hat. That's it.
Oh, that's good.
Just have they put a different kind of hat on.
Is
me.
it a nice
You're still
hat?
mopping the floor. They're just calling you a fry cook, and you wear a different hat while you do it.
A ground sanitation technician.
I like the sound of that.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's good. I don't feel bad about that. I feel good about that.
Well, I mean, naturally,
Yep.
because it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So that's me. That's
Yeah.
I'm feeling I'm
Yeah.
on top of the world, buddy boy.
I'm feeling
Allie.
not fucked because Aubrey and I have taken up bowling and I'm getting super hype about it
Hell yeah.
to the point where I feel like I can't shut up about it. In fact,
Yeah.
Speaking of bowling, today SB Nation tweeted in remembrance of that one time Pete Weber yelled, "Who do you think you are? I am."
Oh my god,
Apparently, it's the anniversary.
Oh,
Fuck
nice.
yeah.
that's so funny.
I
I
was
thought that was funny.
That's one of our favorite videos as a group.
One of the greatest sports quotes of this generation.
I was just watching on the 17th. The PBA had their Players Championship, and I was watching the full replay of that. And
It's called the PBA.
the Pro Bowling Association.
All
The
right.
peanut butter ass lick. Pabst Blue.
Pro bono
Anuses.
attorney.
We're just gonna go butts.
But
But no, the final round. Might have to watch the final round at some point with you guys because it is one of the biggest shockers since that darts video that
No
I
kidding.
showed you guys like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it was something. It was something else. But
That's sweet.
we
well-
really should be watching more bowling.
Yeah, right now. We should just not do this. And then after that video, we'll stop being friends.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
This is a weird gag. I don't like this
is a weird
gag at all.
No, well, I mean, it's not a gag. So
I'm actually going to do that to you.
I'm just gonna leave this house and never see you guys ever again. Ever.
I mean, that's fine because your
Anyway.
fiance ordered wings and already paid for them. They're being
Well,
delivered
yeah.
here. So,
Never mind.
I'll take care of those.
Change in direction.
well, anywho,
Yeah.
I learned how to keep Chris as a friend.
Yeah.
With wings.
Chicken
Blackmail
wings.
him with wings.
Look at me.
Blackmail him with wings.
I think that's what's happening.
Do I look like the kind of guy who's not gonna say yes to chicken wings?
I have some photos of him and some chicken wings.
How's blackmail figure in? Got some really, really embarrassing
Me eating
pictures.
chicken just in a hotel room. like a dirty motel at 3 a.m.
Like you walk into a motel room, remove your tie, and, unbutton.
I
your shirt.
pull out like a styrofoam container, put them in a dirty microwave.
Oh yeah.
It's taken from like a really long zoom
Yeah.
lens, like across the street in a different building.
Right, so you can't actually hear anything. You just see the decadence of
Slurping sauce off my
buffalo
fingers.
dripping down your face,
Mr.
and
Candidate,
all over your chest.
Mr. Candidate, this smear campaign is taking its toll. And if there's one thing that could clean up a bad smear. It's a moist towelette. We need a moist towelette of a press release, and we need it now.
Jesus God.
All right.
All right.
It's kind of a stretch.
I am actually feeling fucked this week.
How fucked
no.
are you?
Not actually. I'm in a good mood. Everything's been going really well. But I'm fucked, and I think we're all kind of largely fucked because the government doesn't want things to be good for you.
Okay. What do we explain?
So I think I told you guys.
Same old, same old.
I'm gonna get real personal here, so everybody just be aware.
All right.
We're going down personal street here. We're getting into
boy.
personal avenue territory. I went to a credit counselor to try and get some of my debt taken care of, and I got the proposal emailed to me. And I was all gung ho about it, and then I'm reading through like the proposal that she laid out, and it was just like when I saw everything on paper, A, it was not what she told me over the phone.
Okay.
B, it was like way more money than I was comfortable with like giving up a month. So, which she told me it was going to be like this set amount,
Yeah.
but it was higher. What she quoted me, in writing that I had to sign and return was higher.
No shit.
So like what I did actually is I usually when I'm in this situation, the older I get, I'll call my mom and I'll ask her for advice.
Yeah.
And I told her what the payment was and like what exactly they were breaking down for me. And she's like, yeah, that seems really high, like a huge amount of money. And the other thing is it's the government sponsored loan, not loan, but
The consolidation.
yeah, like the debt repayment. It's a management plan is what they call it. So it's basically like the government saying, hey, we'll pay, you're making the payments, but we're paying the credit card companies on your behalf.
Okay.
And
so
we're
you usually do pay a little bit of a fee.
correct
For
yeah.
them lumping it all together for you.
And that was it. But they're like, they make the deal to lower your interest rate. They, make the payments on your behalf. And then it's like, they're going to take their cut for it, right? Mm-hmm. So their cut, I did the math, would have equaled out to like $1,200.
No shit.
Yeah, over this like 3-year plan basically is what it was to get and that would take care of everything. And that was the number that I kept, maybe I was focusing on so much, was like that's what I want, 3 years and it's done. But I just like seeing that out on paper, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to put my name to this yet.
That's a big chunk of change.
So what I did this morning is call one of my credit card companies, and as it turns out, they're really easy to work with.
The thing is, they are, because I just did the same thing.
And it's so much so that the lady I spoke to on the phone, I said, I feel, after she told me what the deal was that she got me, which I will say is exponentially better than what the United States government wanted to get for me.
Okay.
Like exponentially better.
Okay.
I said, I gotta be honest, I feel really stupid having waited this long to call and take care of this. And she's like, yeah, we're not really that scary. And that's the thing, is like, they want you to pay them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd much rather have you pay than default or go into
Yeah,
bankruptcy.
right.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. Credit and like loan companies aren't scary.
Right.
Creditors
They're scary.
Yeah.
are.
Right.
Like that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Right.
And if you can, and some aren't that bad. There are some that will work with you, but debt can be bought every 6 months.
Yeah.
So like if it gets shifted to some of the ones that are shitty and scary, they're fuckers
Right,
to work
right.
with. Like
Yeah.
they will threaten you and be
Call you
mean
at your
to
job.
you. And
yeah.
but the first time I had a conversation with them, I was like on my way to work. I was about to run out the door. And they're like, well, you need to pay us back our money now. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, I've been making payments to a creditor to take care of this. Like,
Yeah, right.
I didn't even know that stopped. And she was just like, well, we're going to sue you if you don't pay right now. It's like, if I had that money, you would have
Have it.
that
Right.
money.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. So, like, fucking deal with it before
Yeah.
you have to deal
Yeah,
with
that's-
creditors.
That's the thing.
Because they absolutely will
Right.
work with you before it gets to that
And
point.
that's the thing, because like I looked, this is like a government, this is the one that the government says go through.
Yeah.
And like, okay, the deal she laid me out for this particular card that I called today, the deal that what she would have laid out was over the course of this like length of time, which was 3 years.
Yeah.
It would have knocked my interest rate down to like 10% on that card. I called today. They gave me a locked interest rate until the balance is paid off,
Yeah.
at 0.99%.
Shut
So
up.
I got a 1% interest rate, and she's like, "How much can you pay right now?" Because they want like a good faith, like,
Sure.
take this right now,
Yeah.
and then we'll put you on a monthly thing. It's gonna cost me like less than half of what it would have went towards for that just for this one thing. So like, call them because
Yes.
they're gonna work with
Yeah.
you. And I feel like the government is like, well, you know, we want you to do good, but we want our taste, and we also maybe really don't want you to do that good. We want you to give up, you know, like, because they asked me like everything in my budget, like what's costing for rent and this, you know, car payment, what you spend monthly on like groceries and things like that, and then what they do is they take the difference between what you're getting paid and what you're spending, and they take all of that and put it towards your payment. And it's like, okay, cool, but
That's
like
not feasible
I'd,
for
Yeah.
people.
I'd still like to go outside every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, so it just
I don't want to live in like a financial prison I built
Correct,
around
right.
myself.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm in debt. I'm not in like insane debt. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I let it. You know, there's some people who have like real fucking problems.
Yeah.
I'm in like, oh shit, I need to take care of this debt. I'm not in like, I'm gonna be on the street debt.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
But so like, no matter where you're at, just deal with it. They want you to at least make some kind of payments to them. They want you to do something.
Yeah. It's often like if you're really struggling like that, they will often even sometimes settle for a fraction of what you actually owe them.
Right. It was just so much easier. Call them. That's my advice. Don't go through anybody. Just call them and talk to them. It's
You and
so
I
much
were
easier.
talking earlier, Chris, about how it feels like so monumental and
Yeah.
huge, and you just can't do
Right.
it. And a lot of that is like anxiety and depression,
Sure.
and it's like overwhelming when you have this big thing looming in front of you.
Yeah.
But when you make the phone call, it's like 5 minutes. Like you said, it's 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and they're usually willing to work with you, and it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
And even if they tell you no, it's still the worst that you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Right.
not that big of a deal, but they'll 99% of the time they'll work with you.
I'm really happy for you. You got something that works out.
That's awesome.
Me too. Yeah, and it's like, and I'll have it paid. You know, she said I would recommend making higher payments than what, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
She said, but you could do what you want, and I will. You know, when I get big bonus money in, whenever I can throw towards it, I will.
Yeah.
But it's a manageable payment every month.
Yeah, that's
great.
The thing is, once it starts to run away from you, is
Yeah.
when it gets really, really upsetting.
Right.
Like
Right.
I ran into that with my Chase card, where I had like basically 3 months of like late fees and
Yeah.
stuff adding up. And when I called them, I was like, "Hey, I can't do this. Like, I need
Help.
I need help." And they immediately waived all those late fees, and then basically settled for about 70% of what the actual total was.
Yeah, right.
And that
Easy.
And it was so much easier.
It's as easy as picking up the phone, being nice, and saying, I need help.
Yeah.
That's really as easy as it is. They make it seem like it's so scary, or you like that's people's impressions. It's really as easy as just saying, help me.
Yeah.
I want to give you, I don't want to have this get any worse. I want to give you your money.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they want it. That's the thing. They want it. They don't want to have to go through this rigmarole either. They just want you to pay them. So
Right.
that's my advice. Go do that. Go take care of your debt. It's not as
Yeah.
scary as you think it is.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, bud.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I am also fucked.
How are you fucked?
I am fucked because what my brain wants to do is not what my body can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also not what the other part of my brain will let me do. It's very confusing. But basically, anxiety and depression
specifics.
suck. So I've been playing roller derby for over a year, and it's something I love doing. But I'm still not past, like, some of the basics. And I can do them, but not as good as I really need to be comfortable playing. Especially, like, transitions are a big one for me that's difficult, which is when you're skating one direction and then you turn around while you're still moving and then skate
Yeah.
the same direction facing the opposite way.
Yeah, just like skating backwards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And it's just, I know how to do it. I know the way I'm supposed to move my body to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
I
performing.
panic every time and I can't get my body to do what I need it to do.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because it's like I've had like people help me because obviously they're my teammates, and they'll be like, so you know to do this and that. I'm like, yeah, like I know what to do. Like it's frustrating because I know exactly what to do.
It's just a matter of making it happen.
It's just doing it.
The fundamentals in any sport have such a high skill ceiling that, like, you know, the greatest athletes of all time, you know, aren't there just because they make flashy plays all the time. That's certainly part of it. It's because they have the strongest fundamentals. And those can be a real bastard.
Right.
I'm trying to be nice to myself about this, and I know that everyone goes at their own pace. But we recently had a recruitment event, and all of those new people I've watched them all do beautiful transitions. I'm like, fuck, that sucks. But I was able to like skate on one foot for longer than I usually can, and I'm like seeing improvement in other ways, and I'm still at it. But it sucks when the things you want to do are physically like harder than you need them to be.
Yeah. I have that problem when I play the guitar. I'll like watch videos of someone like Jeff Beck playing the guitar, and I'll go, "Oh yeah,
I can do that.
I can make it sound like that." And then you just, you can't.
It's like in your head, you're much better than you physically
There's
are.
a reason
That's
he's on
how
that
I
TV
feel.
show doing that. You can't do that. you know?
It's always really hard when you want more out of yourself than
Yeah.
you're like actually doing or able to do at that time.
Right.
It's always hard.
That being said, like this is a thing I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
Like I just wrote it off. I saw the movie Whip It and I was in. I was like, that is the coolest thing. And I was like, I can never do that. I'll never do that. And then I'm doing it.
then now you're
so
doing it.
Yeah, you are
that's,
doing it.
You know, it's still hella cool.
Yeah, it is.
I just gotta be easy on myself
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah, it takes time.
I feel like it will probably. I mean, like you said, everyone at their own pace. Like when you do get there, you'll be glad that you took the time to really.
And
practice.
I'm actually in a Facebook group called Roller Derby Team Turtle.
What?
And it's essentially
Turtle.
Team
it's
Turtle.
essentially geared towards people like me who like are taking longer to like get stuff.
Yeah.
And someone in there, people will post like their successes and stuff like that, and the things they're working on or the things they're struggling with, and get advice from each other. And someone in there was saying like she is kind of going through the same thing I am, and she talked to someone else on the team who was like, look, it took me 6 years to get to the point where like I was actually playing the way I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But now she's like a really good player and well respected on the team. And I'm like, okay, I just gotta keep fucking doing it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's all it is a grind.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Some things are just like that. Some things just
Yep.
like take forever. It's just.
And
like their
I try to
nature.
remind myself, like, I'm putting wheels on my feet and then trying to move in ways like it's not a fucking normal thing to
Right,
do.
exactly.
Like, you need time to get used to this. So,
Yeah. Your brain didn't evolve to have wheels.
right.
Not,
just doesn't make
not yet,
sense.
anyway.
No.
Not yet.
I don't know. I have a
the
wheelie
technology.
brain.
We have the technology.
You have a wheelie brain?
I have a wheelie
I
brain.
thought I heard that as I have a wiggly brain. My brain's always like, whoa, come and get me. Whoa.
I think that just means I have vertigo
Yeah.
all the time.
Having a wiggly brain just means like passing out a bunch.
So is this the point in time we normally do a little segment of some kind?
Actually, we usually break first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we take ourselves a little break?
Little break.
Little break. And we will come back with more 3 Dude Show.
Wait, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I thought we were just talking.
No.
I mean, basically.
What the fuck do you think is going on right now?
Like conversation?
Get it together, man.
Oh, sorry.
Light conversation. All right, we'll be back in a minute. All right.
Hey, guys, you've been listening to and enjoying the 3 Dude Cast.
We hope you've been enjoying it anyway, but if you have, mash that like button.
Yeah, smash that fucking like button.
It looks like a heart on SoundCloud, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And if you really want to hear more of our stuff,
You can subscribe to us.
Yeah, or rate and review us on iTunes and Google Play.
And we're everywhere. SoundCloud, everywhere.
we're always with you.
Always.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Yee.
We are back with our host, Kristy.
Yes. Yes. So the one thing that we said we were going to do this season is let our guests host the show.
Yeah.
And then our first episode, we had a guest and we didn't let him host the show.
It's true.
So
we gotta have Dan back.
We got to have Dan back so he can use
We
his
are
topic.
going to have Dan back.
Yes.
Yes.
It's funny, we describe it as let the guest host, but it's really like we don't have to do
Yes,
any work.
right. I didn't plan for anything.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm leaving it up to other people.
I spent all day in my underwear napping, and now I don't have anything.
Hey there, Billy. How would you like to be weatherman for a day?
Well, gee, mister. No, but
I've
yeah,
never done it before.
but with the hosting duties comes the game duties. You have to you have
Yeah.
to get that duty, that game of duty.
You gotta get that duty.
gotta get that duty. That's your duty now.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to just bring poop.
I mean, you could. That would
should.
fit with the theme of this podcast.
I always bring a little bit just in case.
I'm just
Just
gonna
in case
push
we run
this
out.
paper
Just a little
bag
bit
out
right
of
in
the
the
way.
right in the old pants pocket.
It's just a crumpled paper bag in the corner.
A single fly buzzing around it.
But yeah, no. So since you're the host,
Since I'm the host and
yeah.
I'm a true professional, I brought a game. And this is a little game that we normally do on Goose Chase.
I love that this is going to happen on the Dudecast. That's so
I
weird.
know, right?
So this is called
I'm ready.
Trues and Fnews.
time for Trues and Fnews. You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me?
This has been a Merv Griffin production.
Griffin production. I forgot.
That's all right.
That's from our. That's an impersonation of our jingle.
Yeah, sort of. Is it? No, Kristy and Dave do the Goose Chase podcast, and they always play a little game called Trues and Fnoozy.
Yes. Kristy, would you like to describe the game?
Yes.
And then again tomorrow night when you do.
Oh, we're not doing it tomorrow night.
That's right.
No Goose Chase.
right.
I have to work tomorrow. Trues and Fnews is a game where I am going to present 2 false headlines and 1 true headline, and you're going to guess which is the true headline or trues and which is the false headline. Fnews.
Or Fnooz.
Yes. This
That's
terribly
the best
named
I've
game.
ever done that, and it was not on
I
our
was going to
podcast.
say, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You just knocked it out of the park. But I think also when we do it on our podcast, I'm staring at you intently.
You are, and you're so good at it.
Yes, this poorly named game is a Goose Chase staple. So
Yes.
why don't we play Trues and Fnews?
Woo!
All right. So, first headline, you ready?
Yes.
Chime company named arm bones connected to the chime bone is being questioned regarding to the source of the bones used in their chimes.
Like bone chimes?
What?
That's
Yes.
Bone chimes and harmony.
okay.
Next, 2 altar boys arrested for putting marijuana in a cathedral censer, which is like their
Their incense thing?
incense
Yeah.
burner. The thing like they throw the incense burner at you.
I always thought that was weird. Like the priest just kind of waggles it at you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's called a censer, apparently.
That's not the only thing a priest would normally waggle around an altar boy.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Da-da-da-da.
Blah. Last headline. Thanks to an artistic recreation, we now know Roman Emperor Nero was a literal neckbeard. So normally on our podcast, I say them once and then we'll do a recap and say them again.
Yes.
Yes, let's hear 'em one more time.
Chime company, the arm bones connected to the chime bone is being questioned regarding to the source of the bones used in their chimes.
Okay.
Second, 2 altar boys arrested for putting marijuana in a cathedral censer. Third, thanks to an artistic recreation, we now know Roman Emperor Nero was a literal neckbeard.
Wow.
You know what?
This is going to be a tricky one.
I have to abstain because I know which one is real.
You know which one is, you saw it somewhere.
Shit.
You can still guess, just guess last. So just
Yeah.
don't give away, but still guess which one you think is true. Well, I mean, tell us what you think is real later, but
All right. So like immediately,
I figured some of you might know this one.
I'm I know how you play Trues and Fanews because I've listened to it. Immediately, I think the one we're supposed to gravitate towards is the two altar boys who put the pot in the.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote 420, praise it.
That's really good.
Oh yeah, you have to come up with the nicknames for him.
Yeah, well, Kristy always does for
I do
mine.
that. He
I never
usually
do that.
doesn't.
I wrote down Bone Chimes and Harmony because you said that. I wrote 420, praise it. I don't have anything clever for Nero.
I mean, Nero, literal neckbeard is
Yeah,
enough.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
neckbeard Nero.
Okay. I am skeptical of the Nero thing. I
See, I'm skeptical of the bone chimes.
think it's the Bone Chimes, and here's my rationale for this: is I think two altar boys aren't dumb enough to blow perfectly good weed.
Valid point. Yeah, who's gonna waste perfectly good pot on a community of churchgoers?
Yeah.
the people who are least likely to enjoy it.
But then also, I think that the Nero thing, I just don't know how that could be determined. I guess.
Well, no, because they used to do History Channel specials about facial reconstructions and stuff like that.
Yeah. But how would you know where his beard was?
Well, I mean, they can tell by skin structure. I don't know. Shut up.
You shut up.
He's trying to logic
No, you
Trues
shut
and
up.
Fanews.
I'm going with Emperor Nero.
Okay. I am going with Bone Chimes.
Boom, ba, ba,
Ben,
boom.
tell us what the Trues is.
Unless I'm somehow horribly mistaken, it's the Nero one.
Yep.
No way!
Nero was a literal neckbeard.
No shit.
I know this because I saw it on Facebook because our
Me
friend
too.
Mel posted it.
Okay.
Nice.
But yeah, basically this artist who went to school and studied like many different mediums to be able to do this kind of thing, then looked at like different paintings and sculptures of Nero, and then looked at the actual like remains and things like that, and put together a modern rendition of like what he would have looked like.
Wow.
And he has thick red hair and a strap of a beard right on his neck.
No kidding.
And he looks like someone who would mansplain things to you and then like ask you about the band that's on your shirt and make you prove that you like them.
I bet they don't even have a fiddle player.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's just weird to me. Like that would be the style in the first place. You just have a chin strap beard.
You know, well,
It's actually based on like a sculpture that was done of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not even like a chin strap. It goes like well below the
right under
jawline.
here.
Yeah.
And like down the neck. Now, Henry David Thoreau had a similar hairstyle. I don't know if it would have been the same reason in ancient Rome, but men of the 19th century used to do that to hide neck waddles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Did I say 18th or 19th? Because I meant 19th.
I think he said 19.
Yeah.
19th.
Dude, I'm sorry. What the fuck is a neck waddle?
waddle.
It's when your neck like walks away, but it has a poor gait.
Like a turkey waddle. It just
Oh, okay.
hangs loose
Gotcha.
off your neck.
Gotcha.
Like a
Neck
gobbler.
skin.
Yeah.
I picture like your neck just like dancing its way out.
Yeah, they would do it to hide unsightly loose neck skin. I don't know if they would have done it the same in ancient Rome or what. But the reconstruction makes it look like Nero had one of those like bust areas where like his head and his neck are like indistinguishable. Like his neck like tapers gently up into his head.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't have a defined jawline. So that might have helped to maybe accentuate it.
So now I'm just picturing Nero and thinking he was into your favorite band way before you were.
He also in the reconstruction has a real creeper look.
Yeah.
He's got like kind of a low lidded kind of like.
That doesn't surprise me. Like, does he have like a really weird bone structure or something? Like,
He looks a little inbred, which wouldn't be too far out for like.
I mean, who among us, right?
But yeah, no, it's I saw that on Facebook is how I knew.
All right. So now we know. I got busted.
You got busted.
I got busted.
Chris and Ben did not get busted.
Yeah, Chris, you have a pretty good record with Trues and Foos, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, not anymore. So the thing is, like, I sent you the first time I sent you guys a message for the podcast. I was like a perfect 11 for 11 or 10 for 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I've since gone way downhill.
Well, I think that means we're getting better at the game.
Yeah, I failed pretty miserably over the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
So.
I think Aubrey said that she got the last one right.
Oh yeah.
She's in the background
I was
saying
like,
yes.
Yeet.
Yep.
All right. Well, okay, so why don't we move on to the main segment here? Which I'm now I'm getting all confused. I'm talking about it like it's Goose Chase. This is a weird crossover episode. But host.
Yes, I also have a topic for us. Because I know all of you well, and I know myself well, unfortunately. I know that we all have weird brains.
Yes.
So my topic is, what are things you're good at because your brain's a little broken?
Ooh.
Well, where do I begin?
That's Mr. Autism.
Mr. Otherwise known as literally Mr. Autism.
Oh, that's a really great question.
This is not originally the topic I was going to go with, and then I realized I hated the topic I'd originally chosen.
Okay.
And so I chose this instead.
I'm curious what that topic was, now that you say that.
It wasn't great. It was just, it was going to be something about, like, the best gift you've ever given, but I feel like we did something similar to that on
I think
here.
we did actually talk about.
Yeah,
we
and
did a
so,
gift episode.
Yeah, and so I was like, I don't want to do
Yeah.
that because I think we've done it.
Okay.
I
So-
say we because
Yeah,
I've been
right.
on every episode.
Everyone, you're
I
just in
think
the
we've
background.
done it.
Yeah, you just kind of hide behind the desk over there.
Yeah.
I'm just the studio gnome.
You run the operating board for us when we forget to do something.
This is an interesting one. I don't know. It's gonna take me some time to figure this out.
All right,
I think.
I can start, or one of you other dudes
Yeah,
can
go
start.
ahead. Why don't you get us started while I
Okay.
rack
Yeah.
my crazy brain?
So the first thing that came to mind for me is I mentioned Derby earlier, and pretty much as soon as I started doing Derby, I was just, because it's a volunteer sport and hobby and the players organize everything, I was thrown into the role of like being head of the fundraising committee.
Yeah.
And I had only been like a part of Derby for like 3 months, and I was like, okay, I'm doing this now. And I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's not something I'd ever done much of before, and I like doing it.
Yeah.
But every time I like plan an event or put something on, everyone will be like, "Oh, guy, you're so organized and you have everything." And they'll be like, "Oh, did we get markers?" And I'll be like, "I have 1 billion markers." And they'll be like, "Well, do we have this thing?" Like, "I thought of that. It's in my car. Let me get it." And they're like, "You're so organized." And I just like point to everything and go, "You're looking at all of my anxiety." Like,
I was gonna say, like, so much of that is like thinking obsessively about how things could fall apart,
right. And
like,
it's
how
like,
they could all get fucked
it's
up.
like, this is only as good as it is because I wake up in the middle of the night sweating going, "Oh no, I need markers." And that's like the self-deprecating joke that I make whenever someone compliments me on how good something is, but
Yeah.
it's also honest. Like,
Yeah.
if it weren't for the fact that I obsess over these things and I already have the kind of brain that goes like, well, what could possibly go wrong?
Right.
And I like am always planning for contingencies anyways and having weird conversations in my head that will never come to fruition. That's why like I'm good at this stuff, because I'm always obsessing over what could happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it works out. And it means it's something positive for me, and it's something I actually would like to do, possibly professionally. But it's just weird that I fell into it and that I happen to be good at it because my brain's a little broken.
Just a little broke.
Just a little broken.
The other thing is, like, you're great at like approaching people and going to different businesses and talking to people.
I
like,
hate
kind of
it.
Yeah,
pitching
it's horrible, isn't it?
I hate it.
Yeah, but
But I do it because I
have.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really good at it.
It's like that. There was a post going around Facebook recently that was Like my anxiety has an override that I can't do things for myself, but if a friend needs it, I can do it. Like if a friend needs someone to go up to the counter and ask for something, I can do it then, but I'd never do it for me. That's what it is. Derby is my friend being like, I need you to go ask businesses for donations. And I'm like, well, I would never do this normally, but okay, you need me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I see
also,
that.
it'd be weird to just ask businesses for donations for myself. So
Yeah, right. Hey, listen. So
I'm supporting a little organization called
me right, just right now.
Want to give me a free gift card?
Here's my pamphlet. It's just like a half-eaten hot pocket. Here we go.
I mean,
This is my business card. Anything you could give would be great. You know, down to table scraps, free oil change coupons, whatever
Just
you
a
got.
high five, even.
Yeah,
I need a win.
a hug.
wink and a nod.
I need a win.
I just need a win right now. Things are getting bad.
I will repay you with exposure.
Meaning, I will literally expose myself to you right now.
I hope you're a fan of ankle.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do. Is to go to businesses and be like, yeah, please donate this, please give this thing. But the thing is, they're also usually pretty gracious about it.
Yeah, I mean, even if they say no, they are not dicks most of the time.
Yeah.
Occasionally, people are a little dickish. The ones
Yeah.
that are like, I get 3 of these requests a month.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, that's
well,
'cause you're running
how
a
am I
business.
supposed to know that? Like,
Yeah.
so I can't ask because other people have?
yeah.
Right.
All you gotta do is tell me no, buddy.
Part of being a small
fine.
business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't
And
be a
the
dick.
thing is, like, you have to ask small businesses because anything that's a corporation can't give you anything without going to corporate.
Yeah.
Right.
And corporate isn't going to support giving a donation to some grassroots derby league
Yeah,
in
right.
wherever the fuck Youngstown, Ohio. Like,
Yeah.
they don't care. So you have to go to local businesses because they're a part of the community. And
Yeah.
like there are businesses around here that really do give a fuck and are really
Sure.
nice and have supported us up and down like West Side Bowl,
Mm-hmm,
which is where you guys go bowling.
Yeah.
It's such a cool place there, and the owners have been so good
That's
to
why
us.
That's why we keep going night after night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Real cool old school divey bar sort of feel there.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool.
and they have excellent pizza and wings.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Oh, the pizza's so good.
Little pizza treatsies.
Well, who's next?
You know, it took me a minute to think of something, but I realized that, you know, part of the reason I'm working in IT now is because I have a lot of personal experience working with computers and troubleshooting things and whatnot. A lot of it's to do with games, but what I realized recently was that I got good at those things because I refused to accept that something could remain in like an unserviceable condition. If I don't get like outright angry at a computer problem, I get stubborn about it. And like a game boots up and there's no option for this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, no, I'm finding a way to put this in.
Yeah, right.
The first Mass Effect for PC doesn't have any Xbox control by default. I just found out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no
Really?
input for that.
That's
so,
weird.
So my first thought was like, there's got to be a mod for this, right? There is.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, no, I think, I don't know. I refuse. I have this thing where, you know, if things are not the way that I personally want them to be,
Yeah.
I will go far out of my way to make sure that they are.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. It's just like if something like that is like the situation, it just annoys the hell out of me, and I just
So it's
don't
like
like to let it stand.
Problem
Yeah.
solving and conflict resolution via pure stubbornness.
Yeah.
Just getting pissed off at things.
Also known as the 1990s dad way.
Yes.
Pure
Yeah.
stubbornness.
This-
Just like
aggression
bend sheet metal
will
into
not
the shape you
stand.
want it.
right.
by sheer force of anger and will.
This car won't fit in the garage. Well, I'm gonna make
The
it
hell
fit.
it won't.
Yeah, it takes much more effort for me to throw up my hands and say fuck it than to
Figure it
actually
out.
continue doing this. I've spent entire days trying to do things that I know are possible, but that I can't, figure out.
I feel like getting LA Noire to run on PC was that kind of a challenge.
It sure is, bud.
Like, for some reason, they didn't make this game so that you could install and play it. Like, I don't know what the deal is.
Well, they already have your money.
Yeah.
Why bother making a functioning game?
I feel like it took, like, days to get that to work when I finally installed LA Noire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way my brain is broken basically is that I can't accept anything that's like incongruous. I need harmony in my life, and I will pursue the fuck out of my harmony. God damn it!
This has been an eHarmony ad
Zen
by
as
Ben.
fuck.
Harmony?
I think I have this
That's what that is, right?
Yeah, I think.
eHarmony.
Yeah.
Oh, Wiener cousin. The Wiener cousin.
Wiener cousin. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think my broken brain.
Keen harmony.
I think my broken brain thing is the skill to be really weirdly perceptive of what other people are feeling at a specific moment and then internalizing it. which is to say, like, I pick up on stuff and then don't do anything about it.
But you're a salesperson.
Yes.
So that's actually a really good skill to
Yeah,
have.
I think that's part.
Maybe not the internalizing it
Yeah.
part, but like knowing where
Knowing,
people are coming
right.
from and when you can push a little and when you can't.
I've always been really super perceptive. So like, like the ability to kind of read what somebody's feeling when they say something, or like, oh, this situation's really awkward and they haven't fully comprehended it yet. And you know what I mean? Things like that. So yeah, I think sales kind of honed that a little bit, but it was always something that I had, like just this ability to like pinpoint like the part of the conversation where it's like, yep, right now one of the two of us should like turn around and go the other way. You know what I mean? Like, and then just not use the information. That's the next step that I haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, it just it helps. Like you said, sales kind of honed that into the fine unusable sword that it is. Of, you know what I mean? Just being able to see what someone's thinking before they actually vocalize it to you.
I have that too. I'm pretty good at that too. And I work in retail, which is another avenue where you can't really use it most of the time.
Right, exactly.
Because it's like you have to follow policies and do what you're supposed to do. And it's like, I don't want to ask them for this. I know they can't do it.
Yeah,
I
right.
see the lint falling out of that guy's wallet. Like,
I'm still working on eye contact myself. It's
I'm not great at it either. But
no. Sale again. That's another thing that sales will break out of you because you look like you just look like you don't know what you're talking about,
or you're not trustworthy,
or you're not
like
trustworthy.
shifty.
Yeah, you have. That was something I had to break when I started doing it because it was just like,
Why
and
do you look so nervous?
Yeah,
buddy?
like I've always been like.
Do you got Coke hidden in that washing machine?
You selling Coke out of here?
What are you guys doing back there?
What a weird customer. This comes in. He's like, hey, can I give you a hand today? What are you guys doing back here?
Yeah, you trying to sell me a washing machine? I know what's up.
This is a sketch idea.
You selling Coke?
Overly suspicious customer.
Whoa, no. I'm just, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what's really going on here? What's really going on here? You trying to sell some Coke? Listen to me, you son of a bitch.
You're a pack mule. I know it.
You got a body.
A pack mule.
You got a body chopped up. It's in one of those little mini fridges in the shapes of cans,
Don't lie
isn't
to me.
it?
So they're not even plugged in. It doesn't matter.
Wouldn't a pack mule smuggle drugs on its back?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like when you're
These are a lot of
I feel like
drugs.
you mean drug mule.
A drug mule makes
Like-
more sense. A
like where
pack
you put
mule
things-
implies that there's a fuckload of drugs
It's like
on this mule.
a ton of cocaine. A backpack full of cocaine.
Like a hobo or a hiker.
Like a mountain backpack jammed to the
Or
rim
like
with cocaine.
you're like a
Bursting.
cocaine Sherpa.
Look at the hat.
don't
and the
mind me,
cane.
just weight training.
Yeah, what's really going on here?
You ain't fooling me, buddy. I know you got coke in these washes.
Hey guys, better not touch my cocaine.
Whoa, what did that guy just say there?
I'm using it for weight training.
Was he?
Better not touch my cocaine.
Top 10 best sitcom catchphrases.
It's so weird.
That's very weird.
No, but you got to be able to do that in sales.
What, sell cocaine?
Yes.
Yes.
You got to be able to put a lot of cocaine up your butt in
Right.
sales.
In sales. Yes.
I think you might be doing it wrong.
No, this is sales. I'm doing it right. This is sales we're talking
We've
about.
all
folks.
seen Wolf of Wall Street. You're doing it right.
Customer.
That's a lie. I haven't seen that.
Customer takes a switchblade, tastes it off the edge of a knife, and goes, "Wow, that really is the best buy."
That's so weird.
Sorry, you can't see that.
That's for the
That was a
Sight Gags
visual joke.
podcast.
Sight Gags podcast. Look what we did there.
I don't know if I have anything like this. I don't know if there's anything I'm good at.
How are you fucked up, Dave?
I'm fucked up in a lot of ways, but I don't think it's helping me at all. No, like I don't think there's anything that like any like secret edge I get at. You know, like
I'll throw one out to you.
All right.
You are literally the only person sitting at this table who could produce an episode of 2 podcasts a week. How about that?
okay, I'll tell you. Yeah, okay. So that's a thing. Is like for years I used to do things like this, like mess around with audio or like Photoshop or all these like build websites and stuff for no reason other than that I wanted to do them.
Yeah.
So now I guess I do by virtue of never having specialized in anything. I have a bunch of really weird skills.
right.
That like I don't know if most people do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I used to do 3D modeling like when in high school just because I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I made a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
In 3D Studio.
Well, that's not telling at all.
Yeah, right. Like that should have been.
Wait,
it should
we
have
went to
been
high
someone's
school
red
during the
flag.
time that like Columbine and
Yeah,
shit
right.
were
I know. Like Columbine happened when I was in middle school,
Yeah.
and like
Right.
maybe 1 or 2 years later, I was 3D modeling guns all the time.
Hey, what you doing there, Dave? Oh, nothing.
This is fun for me.
It was around the same time I started playing Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I think that was what it was. It was video game stuff. I just wanted to do things like that.
Right.
There was a like a developer's kit, mod kit for Star Trek Elite Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was making maps and things and putting guns in it and modeling things like that. But that's like a thing. Like who does that?
People
Who's
who
doing that?
want to work in the video game industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's just so I do have a lot of like bizarre like fixations. That,
Yeah.
Like I taught myself things that most people wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like when we did the YouTube, we all had to learn how to do editing.
Yeah.
But like video editing, sound like this, I could never. I mean, I could never do it at least as quickly as you do.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't know this, but if you haven't been on the podcast before, but like we edit and Dave edits and
We do it live.
we do it live.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. Dave edits and kind of produces the show on the fly and then does all the post-production stuff
Yeah.
in usually no more than like 40 minutes after the show wraps.
That's how he does ours too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the thing that takes the most effort, the thing is when anytime we do any comedy sketch,
Is waking up in the morning.
yes, the thing that's the hardest is to look myself in the mirror every day.
At this monster that I have become.
It's just to make it a day as me.
That's
Gross.
it gets harder. Ugh.
No, but like the sketches that we do, it's like we'll record every dumb idea in our heads
Yes.
in real time and then cut it together.
Yeah.
In like a patchwork. That's the stuff that I think takes the most
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Well, and especially now that we're gonna be doing sketches again.
Yay!
So, yay.
Yes. Which actually I was looking forward to.
I agree that like I have the same thing with I just relate to everybody. But I'm one of those people that will get obsessed with something for a while and like learn
Yeah.
as much as I think I need to know about it to be able to do it okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what else can I get obsessed with? Right now it's polymer clay. I am making things with polymer
sorry,
clay right
okay.
now.
I'm like, is that an old prospector? Or?
That's Bartholomew Clay.
I changed my name to polymer clay.
Polymer clay. How do you do, folks? Oh no, not prospecting for gold, just looking for clay. It's everywhere.
Takes like a coin and bites it and bends it.
Yeah.
No, like
Everyone else is starving to death in the gold rush, and Polymer Clay has this massive clay fortress, and he's going go over there going,
It's got a moat.
Bet you all wish he's out of the elements.
I'm Polymer Clay, and I'm a right dickhead. Why is his first name Polymer? That's so weird.
I don't know.
It's like Mortimer or something
So
like that.
yeah, it does kind of sound like that.
It's making things with clay, then baking it,
Yeah.
dummy.
Yes.
I thought it was an old prospector. Forgive me.
Hands up.
To be fair, I think a lot of things are old prospectors. College professors, shaggy dogs,
Action figures,
action figures,
cardboard boxes,
movie posters.
Shadows I see out of the corner of my eye.
trees, and other plant life.
Voices on the radio.
Jesus. Voices in my head.
So, all right, getting back to actual polymer clay here.
Yeah.
So, what are you just like sculpting? Just
What, you just
I
sculpted
have-
or something? Like sculpting? What, you just like sculpting things or something?
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. That's not our joke.
Nobody knows what that is.
Sir,
Only a small
Sir,
section of people know what that is.
this is a private pottery barn. You gotta leave.
No, just get
It's-
get up.
Just go.
Seriously, only a couple people know what that is.
Oh my god.
Stop making that joke. Not everybody knows what that is.
I haven't done much sculpting. I've mostly done like making, oh god, what are they called? Essentially making designs in like a two-dimensional form and then making like a pendant out of it.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. So
They're called
Nice.
pendants.
there's a word for the design. Aubrey, what's the word?
Amulet,
Oh,
Oh.
damn it. She's upstairs. She
Amulet.
can't
Trisha,
help
what's
me.
the word?
amulet, medallion,
No, it's not for the end product. It's for
Ravioli.
a relief, an impression.
No, oh god.
a
Hold
mold?
on, give me 1 second, because you guys are gonna keep
A
guessing.
sculpture.
A
No,
ravioli.
you're not on the right track
A
here.
pierogi.
Cane. They're called canes.
Oh, a cane.
A cane?
A cane.
Yeah. So you like make a
Oh.
design. So you know how we watch the candy making videos for a
Yes.
while?
Yeah.
It's the same thing but with clay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll make like a long tube shape, but when you look at the end, it has a design. So it has a design all the way through that long tube shape.
Still long.
Oh, okay.
So you do the same thing, but you
Okay.
do it with clay, and then
Yeah.
you can be very complicated with it. I am not there. And then you can like stretch it out so you make the design smaller and then cut it into pieces. And I have what is essentially a pasta roller, but I just use for clay.
Yeah.
And you roll it through there to stretch it out a little bit, and then you bake it, and
then
you have a pendant.
And then as it bakes, you raise cane. The cane raises.
Yes, you raise cane
Yeah, but well,
because you're able.
yeah. The only way to get better is to make cane whenever you're able. It's to raise cane whenever you're able.
A twofer. Started off salty this season. Puns.
To return to the question, I will tell you, it just occurred to me, the one way in which I'm broken that actually does help me is I'm pretty hard on myself,
Yeah.
which is not fun,
No.
but it does make me try to do better at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm never satisfied with anything.
Yeah.
That's a good and bad thing.
Yeah,
I
like
think
it's
in a lot of ways.
It's cool, like as long as it's manageable.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know? Like if it gets to a point where it's really wearing me down, that's not great.
Yeah,
but
it's not healthy.
But
Yeah.
but it is like I think most people are way too satisfied with themselves.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Myself
Yeah.
included.
I don't know.
I feel like because I am attracted to other people who are the way I am, I think most of the people I know are way too hard on themselves.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right. I think there is a good portion of people out there who aren't self-aware and don't really, like, they oversell themselves in their heads.
Yeah.
They just think they're great at everything.
Those people are hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Like the
I
people who are
had a
so
boss
happy
like
with
that.
themselves.
I had a boss like that, and I was like, no.
You're not that great.
You're not so good.
You're not so good.
You're not so good for
Oh,
me.
you're not so good though.
Well, you're bad
You think you're so good, but you're not though.
You're not
You're
good.
not good.
Oh.
Slightly effeminate Latino male talks about Kristy's former boss.
I miss that guy that we made
yeah,
up.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I know you think you all that, but really, bro, you ain't all that.
so good. And you probably gotta go pee peeps.
So you gotta go peeps? You gotta go to the little peeps?
Yeah, I think
That's okay. But you're not good, though.
Yeah, I think that touches on a very important point, which is that you maybe shouldn't you should be proud of your accomplishments, but still recognize that there's always more to do.
Yeah.
There's always room to grow, but you shouldn't discount everything you've done up to this point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. But then I also think like when you look back on when you look back on anything that you used to do that you're better at now,
Yeah.
that's I think where it comes really clearly into focus. Like, oh, okay, I shouldn't have been like so thrilled with that
Yeah.
because I had just kind of begun to do this thing
Yeah.
and did a bad job at it all the time.
Yeah.
This is slightly off topic, but have you guys ever done something like you've picked up a hobby and you like started to learn the basics of it, and then for whatever reason you put it down for a little while?
Yes.
All the
And then-
time.
I would say only
when
every
you-
week
But there's
of my
more.
existence.
But when you come back to it, you realize you're like way better
Yes.
at it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Guitar
I
does
do
that
that
with
all the
people.
time.
Guitar. Yeah.
And well, not all the time, but I've done that with several different hobbies, and I feel like it's just like your brain needs time for the like concepts to like sink in.
Yeah.
So when you go back to it,
Sure.
you're like, oh, I know how to do this. So it feels like you have the muscle memory
Yeah, you
still.
get
Like
used to
it's,
the
Let it
more
marinate
natural.
in your noodle.
This
yeah.
happens.
I'm hoping that happens with roller derby one day.
Yeah, we just show up and you're like, oh,
I can do it all.
This happens a lot with video games I haven't played in a while. I'll pick something up that I haven't played in a few months, and I'll be kind of impressed with myself.
Yeah, right.
The first, like, Dark Souls is a great example. I've beaten Dark Souls exactly once. When I went back like a year plus later and tried to do it again, I was kind of amazed with myself at how rapidly I was just going through everything.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, once you know the boss's attack patterns, you can eventually get them. Once you get them once, you can do it again. But it's that kind of thing. The same thing happens with Siege. Like if I take a break from Siege for a month or two and then I come back, I'm usually all right. Like I'm not really any worse for the wear.
You know what this is reminding me of?
What's
Have you
that?
ever heard that people talk about like things like when a new record is set, like for like a running speed record or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. Like people struggle to like break a record, but then once someone does, everyone else
Does it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's
what
like
is that?
because that is the impossible. And so what people are striving for isn't that yet until someone does it and then they go, "Oh, well, I can fucking do that if they can do it. I just have to try harder."
Yeah, like that's so weird though, isn't it?
There's got to be
Limits are weird.
Yeah. The Germans have to have a name for that. Like that the ever rising bar that comes in spurts.
Gerflunkenstein.
Yeah, right. Flurben.
Flurben.
Yeah. That's German.
Which translates to, something,
Flurben.
something.
Yeah, or as they often abbreviate it, Dreiflurben.
Yeah, and I'm sure there is probably a word for
Which
that.
is
in
German for the ongoing Flurben.
the Flurben without end.
Oh, God. Going off the
Also
rails
known
here.
as infinity.
Infinirbin.
Influrbity.
Flurben. Oh, my God.
Speaking of which, every once in a while I get the thought that I might want to learn a foreign language, and it's a different one every time. I minored in Russian studies when I was in college, so I still know a bit of it. But in the past, I've tried to learn Spanish, French, Swedish, Japanese, and very, very briefly Arabic until I said, no, fuck it, it's too hard. I've with various degrees of success in each one. I think with how much we're exposed to Spanish these days, like you can pick up vocabulary at least.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and French is just Spanish without consonants. And then
They're really similar.
You need Muzzy.
these children
Oh,
aren't
Muzzy.
French; they're American.
They're
Talked about
American.
that last week. We did. Last episode we talked about Muzzy.
Yeah, we did. We've been talking about Muzzy.
We haven't done
Can't
an
forget
episode.
about Muzzy.
We haven't done an episode where we haven't talked about Muzzy in a long time.
That's right.
But yeah, it's every once in a while I get the thought like I'm gonna learn a foreign language, and then I try it, and then I get bored with it after a while.
Yeah.
Their languages are tough.
But I pick up a little vocabulary here and there every time, and what I've learned about my lack of commitment to learning a foreign language is that I can pick up vocabulary pretty well. I think.
If you had like someone to speak with in that language on the regular, it wouldn't be as boring. It's like trying to learn anything on your own and you don't have someone to practice with is really tough.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my favorite someone tried to teach me Spanish story?
Yes.
How many someone tried to
I
teach me
really only
Spanish?
have one, but it's the best.
Of the many I have.
Of the hundreds of people who have tried to teach me Spanish, this was my favorite.
This was my favorite time.
Well, I worked when I lived in Chicago. I was broke, and I worked part time at a little Cece's, and it was in a neighborhood that was largely Hispanic and Middle Eastern population. So, for some reason, they thought it was best to make me work front counter when I was the only person there who wasn't bilingual, except for the person who did not speak at all. Aside from him, the worst decision would be to make him work front counter. I was the second
the
worst
second
decision.
worst option.
The deaf mute, have him work the front counter. That would be the worst.
But they decided on me. I think because first I had worked at the Little Caesars before. That's how I met Chris.
That's right.
And
Slinging them pizzas.
yep,
And incidentally, because of that, that's how I met Dave.
yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's how I met Corey. And because of that, that's how I met Ben.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
Yeah, it all
Sort of like-
comes back to Little Caesars.
Sort of like poetry. It's like they rhyme.
Rhymes.
But I think they didn't know like how good I was at making pizza.
Yeah, right.
Like they were suspect,
Okay.
especially like landing the pizza, like the under the oven and cutting
Yeah,
the pizza and how
that's-
fast I'd be
that's
and
the
everything.
zone.
That's what you, Chris, you and me and Tommy.
yeah.
That's what we did. We worked together all the time, and you did too. But
little bit of it.
you were often at the Crazy Bread station,
right.
as I
I
recall.
was often at the Crazy Bread station. I don't know why they put me there all the time.
doing the bitch work.
Just like picking up hot bags of
Yeah.
bread. I still with my fingers.
To my knowledge, I still have the little Pleasy's speed record from landing a pizza to a closed box ready for the counter.
Nice.
7.5 seconds.
The little pleasy's breezy speed record.
That's right.
The Little Peasy's promise.
Little Peasies. I will not spit on this pizza where you can see me spit on this pizza.
So I think at first, at least, they didn't know how much I knew to do.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, most people know how to run a register at least a little bit. So they would put me on counter until they realized like I knew how to do everything already. So they put me on the front counter and I couldn't understand most of my customers. And so it was a lot of like gesturing at each other to figure out which kind of hot and ready pizza they wanted. And so one guy was very sweet. He said, gracias, which of course I know means thank you. So I said, you're welcome. And he goes, gracias is thank you. And I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, de nada is you're welcome. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, gracias. And I go, you're welcome. And he shook his head at me like he was disappointed. And he took his pizza and he left. And it still makes me laugh to this day. I'm like, oh, girl. Oh, honey.
That guy gave up on all white people that day.
That I spoiled it for all the white people.
You ruined white folks for that gentleman forever.
You're welcome.
Also, welcome. From working there, when I worked at the Little Caesars here, they hated how I would do shaker boarding, which for people who don't know what this is, the people
God, it's the most demeaning
in front
job
of
in the
Little
world.
Caesars shaking
shaking
that
the
sign
sign.
around.
Oh, yeah.
That's called shaker boarding,
Shaker boarding,
because you're shaking a board. They're very creative.
I got $1 pay raise to do that.
I had to explain to them that the amount of effort I put into it I would already get catcalled and harassed and proposed to.
Yeah.
I was not jiggling my body anymore than just shaking the sign moderately.
How much?
Especially when it's like 90 degrees and I have a black uniform.
Right, exactly.
How much more business does that really give you, though? Like,
It doesn't.
If you
Yeah.
live in the area, you probably already
know it's
fucking
there.
know where the Little Caesars is.
Well, when we started there, it was a new store. So I kind of getting people's attention.
Sure.
But after years, no.
Yeah, they were
and
still
the one
doing
I
it, like, years
the one I
later.
worked at in Chicago was a corporate store. It had been there for ages. People knew it was there, but they still did shaker boarding. So usually they had like a guy that did that, but they had me go out. They're like, "Oh, would you mind like doing that?" I'm like, "It's fine. I'll go do it." So I did it the way I always do. I come back in and they're like, "Oh, you're so good. That's amazing." And I'm like, the corporate store thinks I'm amazing at shaker boarding. And like I was getting talked to every day about how I needed to be better at shaker boarding when I worked at the one here.
Yeah.
You know what I think the worst shaker board job is working for Liberty Tax.
Oh, that guy
yeah.
in the
Where they
Statue of Liberty.
They
Yeah.
stick you out there in the snow in a Statue of Liberty costume.
No, you know what? The dude in the dog suit.
Oh,
We
the
were.
class-
I was
yeah,
just going to bring that up. We saw
224
that the
market.
other day
That costume doesn't
for
even look
Harbor
happy.
Pets.
And he's in there. He's in there, like in the summer too. Like it's
Yeah.
like fucking 70-degree weather.
My first thought is how bad that has to smell.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's gotta be terrible.
And one of my favorite little Pleasy stories is when they had the big Caesar costume, and Tommy
Roman. His name is Roman.
Oh, is it? I'm glad
Yes.
you clarified that.
Wait, is it in the mascot?
Yeah,
The pizza guy?
Pizza bucket. He's
Nico, my cousin.
Nico.
Let us get pizza.
No, my friend Tommy had to go out and dress up in that costume. They roped him into it. I think they
God.
approached me first, and I said, absolutely not. I think I basically told my shift manager, like, I'm going to walk out of the store if
Yeah.
I have to wear that. I'm not wearing that.
Yep.
Like I will put it on,
Right.
but then I will walk
Then
home
I'm taking
in
this
the
with
costume.
Feeling this.
me. No, they made Tommy do that, and like the thing is, it was in the middle of like fucking June, so
Yeah.
it's hot. So he's like, he took most of his clothes off except his underwear and his undershirt and his socks. So he's just, he's like completely.
But what about his second pair of socks?
Yeah, he's like,
Only the people in this room know
What about his
that is.
beanie? You take off his beanie.
Knows what that is.
no, so he's like basically half naked under the suit, and they had his clothes in the back office. So like while he was outside doing the, like, you know, little, like being disappointed basically,
Yeah, right.
in his career choice. They, unbeknownst to him, our manager had left for the day and locked the office.
Oh no.
So like when
What
he came,
the fuck?
he came back in to go
No.
get his clothes, and nobody had the keys to the main office. So he was just walking around waiting for someone to come back and let him in. With the Little Caesars like bottoms on. It's just him and like
Plain white shirt.
yeah, like
and Little
a
Caesars.
wife beater, and then like his like
Roman legs.
his cross, and then just big Little Caesars legs. It was so funny.
How demeaning.
Did they
Yeah.
come back
They
and
did,
unlock it?
yeah. Eric had to come back and let him in.
Oh god, that was his name.
Yeah.
Eric and Michael?
Michael, yeah, the I can't remember their last name. Was it Mosley's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Mosley.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I can't
I
remember
think
either.
so. Eric was not related, right?
No, he was like a cousin or something.
I think he was just a
My
friend.
cousin.
My cousin, let us go eat pizza.
It's like poetry. It's like they rhyme.
Yeah, I think that doing that thing has to be unless you're like one of those sign twirlers that's a genius.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
can do those like crazy tricks.
Yeah.
and why would
YouTube
you ever?
superstars.
Why would you ever want to get that good at that?
I don't know.
You're making $8 an hour.
I
Well,
don't know.
You for a while you guys wanted to. You wanted like the like guitar shaped
Oh yeah,
shaker
that's
board.
right. I remember that. Yeah.
I just remember you like looking in the catalog
it.
and trying to convince them to buy different shaker
we
boards.
got it. We got it eventually.
I have to imagine a shrewd enough shaker boarder that like gets on YouTube and everything is like, look, either you pay me $15 an hour or I take away this free money you're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
I caused a car accident one time doing that. You would talk about broken brains. Apparently, I distracted this lady enough that she ran a red light and got fucking T-boned. And then she blamed me. She was like, man, Abby and I were standing out there, and I'm like doing my shaker board thing, and this lady, like, I watched her like look back at me and blow straight through this red light, and she got fucking creamed.
I want to speak to your manager. How dare you tempt me with these sweet, sweet bargains?
But she was like, she turns over and like everybody's like, oh my god, are you okay? And she gets out of the car and she's like, yeah, it's you in that fucking sign. And I'm like, me? I'm like, it's
I'm
you.
not operating a motor vehicle
I
right
looked at her, I'm
now.
like, you're to blame me? Is it? It's you in that fucking attention span.
Yeah.
Bitch. It's not my fault. Anyway,
That's something
That's
else.
a lot about Little Caesars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
threw that out there.
Siren of bargains driving sailors of the road into the rocks of other drivers.
You're a Little
That
Caesars
metaphor fell apart.
mermaid. That's
I
what
am.
you are.
That's what I am. I'm a little pleasy's mermeezy.
Sirens aren't are they? Are sirens mermaids?
I think they
Yeah.
are mermaids.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mermaid.
Some people know what that is.
Some people. The only people sitting here know what that is.
Anyway,
Did it.
Dead air.
Dead air.
Hey.
All right.
I'm Polymer Clay. Here's my friend Dead Air.
Howdy.
well
I'm
that
not alive anymore.
that Lone Ranger Dead Air rode into town one day.
Does anyone have any other things? I'd like to get back to the central question
Yes.
here.
I
Yes.
I don't know how else my brain is really broken. I try to not like refer to Asperger's syndrome or autism spectrum as being broken necessarily.
Yeah, I don't mean it in
more
a
like,
serious way. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I like for my own sake, I'm trying to like think of like the fact that I have crippling anxiety and how that possibly
Right.
benefits me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you were saying, it kind of makes you more prepared. It makes you more aware in a weird, fucked up sort of way.
I think in my actual day job, the way it comes through is I have a mental list of everything I have to do.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that other people don't do this. I'm like, oh, so yeah, I am the weird one here, but I am helping a customer and they're waiting on something. And so now that goes on the list. I need to check back in and see where we're at with that.
Yeah.
And then I'm typing something and then I'm doing something else. And I'm like, all these things are on the list and I come across a problem and I can't fix it right now, but that goes on the list. And then I just have this really long list of all the things I need to resolve. And then, oh, yeah, that person's over there, so I need to check in where are we at with that because I remembered their name because it was on the list. And how's that going? And at one point, I wasn't working up front, but I had remembered that someone else said that we were working on something for that person. So it went on my list. And when everyone else forgot about it, I remembered.
Nice.
And my boss was like, oh, what's up with that? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're almost done with that, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, how do you know that? I'm like, you don't keep a mental checklist of everything that you need to be doing? How do you not know that? You're the boss.
Yeah.
It's because I have a checklist of every single thing that I need to accomplish.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
Having that much headspace dedicated to all the things that could be forgotten or go wrong. Or
yeah, and sometimes I literally write myself notes because I know I just don't have the capacity to hold all of it.
All the time. I can't keep that much stuff straight in my head, not even day to day. I always set reminders on my phone. I'm constantly setting reminders on my phone.
I have to.
So if it's half an hour before I got to be somewhere, I'm like, hey, be at this place, or hey, this still needs tending to. But I can't keep a mental list. I've never been able to.
I have to put sticky
notes on the door for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trisha does that to me too because I will forget something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely will forget something.
I sometimes think if I actually, which I'm going to, address this anxiety in some way, I think I'll still be good at that, but I'll actually be better at it because it won't
Yeah.
be so overwhelming.
And stressing about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, like, the flip side, can you imagine being one of these people who's just like normal? like, can
that
you
sounds horrible.
I
God.
think it'd be kind of lame, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would suck.
Yeah, well,
I
the-
feel like
the hell does
anxiety is
normal
so
mean?
built into my personality that it's one of the reasons I've been hesitant to do anything about it because I'm like, what if I'm just not me? If I'm not fucking anxious all the time?
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. I'll be
Yeah.
fine. I'll still be me.
Yeah.
It's not going to rid me of my personality.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know what it's like to not be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the time period there where I was taking Prozac, I can tell you it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It doesn't change your personality too much at all.
Yeah, it's something I'm looking into.
Yeah. I'm like, now I'm like, what, 5 weeks in on Wellbutrin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the antidepressant.
That's a real wad of a name, isn't it? Wellbutrin. It just doesn't flow into
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it doesn't
the,
flow into itself
feel-
well.
Good
the generic is worse. It's bupropion.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's a wad.
That sounds like something from the Fifth Element.
That sounds like an ant god that's like a giant ant god.
Bupropion.
Proprion,
Yeah.
Lord of the Ants.
Greek god of anxiety.
Well, I mean, you said how long have you been doing the Wellbutrin
About
thing?
5 weeks.
See, I've been like 3 years on heroin, and I found that it's been great.
I find it really good. It feels
Incidentally,
awesome.
do you have any heroin?
I've been
Why?
doing,
Funny you should ask.
I've been taking up crocodile. It's great, but it costs an arm and a leg.
Oh god.
Yada-da-da-da.
There goes another appendage.
One time I
falls
was
off.
I was talking to my boss and I don't know why it came up, but I said something about like I had been depressed or something recently. And for me, the way that shows is I get like suicidal ideation. Like mostly I just don't want to exist.
Yeah, right.
It's nothing I'd ever act on, but I just like obsess about it.
Feel personally attacked.
By this relatable
Contest.
So he is one of those people who never really experienced depression or anything. And
Yeah.
then was recently he thought he was having like seasonal depression. So he was like, well, what's it like when you're depressed? Like, how do you know you're depressed? And I paused and I went, mostly I just don't want to exist anymore. And he like stopped and then started laughing. I was like, I don't know how to answer that. I
You're
mean,
right.
that's how I know. I'm
know
like,
what? I
when
always-
I'm just like going along my day and all of a sudden I'm like, I shouldn't be here.
I always have that thing of like, should I really answer this question sincerely? Or
Right.
like, am I going to reveal way too
Right.
much?
I was like, this is my boss, but also I don't know how else to answer. So
Yeah.
I just don't want to be alive, I guess.
See, for me, it's like my mind is happy, but my body didn't get that memo.
Yeah.
Like it's so
Yeah.
excited that it forgot to send the invitations out to the rest of me.
You have like a little hand puppet and
Yeah.
it's got a sad face on.
Yeah. Well, it's like like my brain's like, I'm gonna throw this fucking rager. It's gonna be awesome, and then he just doesn't put the invitations
you don't
in the
do
mailbox.
it. Yeah.
So it's like, well, legs aren't working this morning. You know, the rollover function isn't working this morning.
Yeah.
So I find myself like laying in bed like an idiot and going like, dude, get up. Like
Yeah.
it's time
Yeah.
to get breakfast. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like
Here's a thought that I had not too long ago is like every once in a while, you know, I feel like it's intelligent folks like us that tend to, you know, get existential crises every once in a while. We start to think about like, you know, what am I doing here?
Yeah, right.
What the fuck, you know, what's the point of it all?
God.
And
Why
then-
is this guy in my basement? Why'd I tie him up like that?
but then like
really going on here?
hey, what do you do? He just knocks on your door.
Hey, I see. I know you
followed you home from your job.
You got coke in here?
I followed you home from your job. You killed somebody and tied him up, didn't you?
Yeah, I know you gotta go.
I don't know why you killed him and then tied him up. That doesn't make any sense. I don't have any coke here. I'm past the coke. I'm to the guy in your basement that you tied up.
but
I'm like to think he's hung up on the coke and okay with the guy tied up in the basement.
Yeah.
You tied him up in case he reanimates himself and comes back to life as some kind of zombie creature.
It's all right. It's a stylistic choice. I appreciate it. It'll confuse the cops. It's fine.
Right. But seriously, where's that coke? Is it in a dead guy?
Was he a pack mule?
Was he a pack mule? Where's his backpack?
But
Did you sew a hump into him and put the coke in there?
so then, like the logical next step to that thought
They
is
call
like,
it cameling.
well, one hump of cocaine or two.
Sorry, bud.
No, that's okay. The logical next step to that is like, what's the point of living? And my answer is like, oh well, that's easy. There's video games and there's beer,
Right.
and there's sex and there's all this other great stuff.
Yeah, right.
But then the logical next step of that is, well, isn't that really shallow?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
and then the logical next step of that is, well, look at animals. All they do is eat, sleep, and fuck, and they're perfectly content.
Right.
You know, maybe it's just that we need earthly pleasures in our lives, and we shouldn't think about this shit too much.
I think getting used to the idea that like existence is kind of pointless is
Yeah.
kind of like at least for me, it's like part of like getting older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
And
like
getting over it.
like
Yeah.
adjusting to
Yeah,
an
exactly.
indifferent universe.
Right, right.
You know.
I
Yeah.
think the best thing I ever did was stop believing there was something after this lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not hung up on being a certain way.
You'll be relieving in a
And
way,
I can
right?
just, I
It's
can just like
relieving.
do things that make me happy now because that's what I got is now.
yeah. Is
Also, I was always weirdly obsessive and might have had some severe issues, and I had to stop praying because I was super obsessive about it
Yeah.
and had to do it a very specific way. So I had to cut
Yeah.
myself up from prayers at a young age.
Yeah.
That's not a thing normal
not
people
normal.
have
No,
to
right,
do.
right. You like touch a doorknob 5 2.
Seriously, like I had some
Like rituals.
obsessive compulsive stuff going on,
Yeah.
but I blame my mother who also had obsessive
Obsessive, yeah,
compulsive
right.
stuff until she had kids, which they became the obsession, so
Right.
she didn't have to do the rituals. But
I've prayed exactly once in my life, and it was when I found out. It was after I'd gotten back home from visiting my grandfather who was in the deep stages of Alzheimer's, and my reasoning at the time was it can't hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And it couldn't. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it really can't.
The
So
fact that it also like it variably does or doesn't do any good. you
Right,
know,
yeah.
Like is also it's like
Yeah, I was like what? I must have been like 14 or 15 at the time. Yeah, my reasoning at the time was like
it can't. And it can't. Like there's nothing wrong with it at all.
yeah. I think for most people, what it really is a way of like honing and expressing like their
Getting it out into the ether.
Yeah,
you know
like-
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
sort of like
which is a positive thing.
Yeah, it's-
externalizing your
And
sort
also
of
like
pride or whatever.
organizing your thoughts
Yeah,
a little
it-
bit.
right,
It's healthy
that's-
to like talk to yourself and talk out loud. Like
Prayer-
that's something that helps me a lot.
Sure.
And
prayer is a form of meditation.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
tots and pears.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughties and prayers.
Thought police.
Thoughts.
Thought patrol.
THOT. Thoughts.
I still don't really get that.
I don't either. I don't know. I'm so
It
fucking
means
old.
it means that hoe over there.
That hoe.
I know, but I still
Thoughts.
don't get that.
Why is there a law enforcement agency around?
Open up.
Open up.
Thought patrol.
It's me. I work for the top police. Yeah, I'm the captain.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
they
what's
got
going on here?
cocaine.
You got coke in there?
Yeah, watch me go down
You
here.
got thoughties in there?
Yeah,
Do we
but-
have anything else for this topic?
I don't know.
Let's see. We're getting around time.
We're getting around time.
around time? What is this, a podcast? This is
This is like, who is it? We already said before, only a couple people know what that is.
So why don't we take a break? By the way, thanks for that topic. That was interesting.
Now get
I
out.
thought that was good.
Leave this room. No.
So we'll take a break, and then we will be back in a minute with
Smoking
recommendations.
and drinking. I lied last season. We're not putting it to bed. It is making a comeback.
I will wait as long as it takes.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good.
We'll be back
Smoking.
with our
Drinking.
recommendations
Being on fire and consuming alcohol.
We'll be back in a bit.
Hello. I'm rich businessman and 3-dude sponsor Roger Sickbastard, inventor of the scrotumen, neck pubes, and owner of 10, count 'em, 10 child brides. Anyway, I'm here today to announce to you a new mini-series that I'm premiering on the 3-dude cast, profiling every single woman that I've ever banged in my life. I call it The Pussy Chronicles. My original title, The Vagina Monologues, was unfortunately already taken, although I'm suing for the rights. Those bitches are whiny. Pull up a scrotumen, plop yourself down, and listen to our first episode on Gloria Vanderschmidt, a saucy little dance instructor practically cured in the fumes of menthol and sadness. And I would encourage everyone to remember that I am, in fact, very rich.
Hi everyone, I'm Gloria Vanderschmidt. This is Dancing with Your Better Half. This is not a couples class. If one more beautiful couple walks in here, I'm done. Better half means your top half. Let me tell you about myself. I'm 67 years young and 67 inches wide. But don't you worry, I can still move the parts that matter. Also, my family were the only known Jewish wasps, which means we had a lot of money and we hated ourselves for it. I say had, because I spent all my money on Virginia Slims and Virginia Fats, which is where you eat an entire Virginia ham every day for lunch. That's enough about me. Let's get started. Plant your feet. Yes, just like that. It's even better if you lock your knees. If you feel yourself going down, call out for help so we all know where to look and laugh. All right, so here's what you do. Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Shoulder, shoulder. Shoulder, 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 shoulder. Now you may be wondering, what do I do with my hips? You don't have hips, honey. Now shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Now you're thinking, Gloria, I wanted to learn the sensual art of dance. To that I say, you know how I got my first 3 unwanted pregnancies? Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. My last 2, absinthe. Keep working those shoulders. I want to give a big thank you to Roger Sickbastard who sponsors this class. Little known fact, we once had a brief affair. It was 25 minutes, which featured 5 minutes of passionate lovemaking, and the rest was an acceptable steak dinner. Now, I'm not saying he owes me child support, but he owes me child support. Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Shoulder, shoulder.
All right. She was an American girl.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Okay, anyway.
What are we doing?
Shout out to Marshall Mathers, my
Yeah.
homeboy.
Yeah, he's my literal homeboy.
Little known fact, he used to work at Little Caesars.
He did. Yeah.
Got fired several times.
Right.
They kept hiring him back.
Yes.
They kept telling me that I was going to be the next Marshall Mathers.
Well, they kept hiring all these other Slim Shadys, but they were all just imitating.
Yeah, right.
They kept saying,
That's why he had to stand
real
up.
Slim Shady, please stand up.
Yeah,
And
he stood up and put his 2 weeks notice in, and then left.
And then worked at a different Little CC's after that.
Except this little CZ's was called Dr. Dre's office.
And they profiled it in a movie. You might have heard it. It's called 8 Mile.
The rise of a pizza man to stardom.
The story of Marshall Mathers. You might have heard it. It's called A Star Is Born. It's called The Godfather Part 2.
It's called Good Marshall Mathers Hunting.
Ernest Goes to Camp.
You might have heard of it.
Ernest Goes to 8 Mile.
Well, gee, Vern.
Ernest goes to Michigan.
Abbott and Costello meet Marshall Mathers.
Anyway,
National
Harold and Kumar and Marshall
Marshall
Mathers go to White Castle.
what is happening on this show? Anyway,
I don't know. Well, it is time for the thing that we traditionally
It is
do
time.
here. Is recommendations. Recommendation time.
Recommendations.
That's the time when
Recommendadies.
we recommend
The
things
time where we talk about what we're smoking.
and drinking. The old switcheroo. If you can't beat him, beat him.
And if you can't beat him off.
Who's gonna start this thing?
Beating them off?
Yes, who's gonna start beating them off?
No, I don't like it.
I'll start us off. All right. I have one recommendation this week, and it's a TV show.
If you are about to talk about what I wrote down as well,
No.
all right,
No.
okay,
No. I could talk about that because I've also watched that.
yeah.
And I will say preemptively I back that recommendation up, even though I haven't finished it yet.
Same.
I will back that up. But no, what I'm going to recommend is a show that was on years and years ago on NBC, I believe. It was The West Wing. I went back through. I started watching old episodes of The West Wing.
It's pronounced Weast.
The West Wing.
Weast wing.
So yeah, I feel like when I make recommendations on the show, it's really hard to recommend a TV series in general.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much there that it's like
Yeah.
daunting. So I'm going to try and narrow it down, and I'm going to give you, I'll say 2 episodes that you should watch that will kind of give you an idea of what the show's about, and like I would say maybe give you the best, the best look into the series and what it's like. So the first episode I'm gonna recommend is I think it was actually in season 1. It's like halfway through the season. It's an episode called In Excelsis Deo.
Oh, I think I know which one that was.
Okay, so yeah, it's an episode in which the Toby Ziegler, who is the White House Communications Officer, or director, White House Communications Director, his business card is found in a dead man's coat. This guy who died on a park bench. He's a veteran, and his business card was found in his coat, and that's because Toby had donated the coat and had one of the business cards in there. And throughout the episode, he finds out a little bit about this guy's life and
This fucking guy.
it tries to do what he can to get this guy buried in Arlington Cemetery. So it's a really good look into that character. Really well done episode, really well written, like all of these are. It's an Aaron Sorkin thing, so it's going to be pretty good. The second episode is from season 2, and it's towards the end. It's called Two Cathedrals. And this is a really good episode, and I looked it up later, and apparently it's considered one of the finest episodes of any dramatic television series ever.
I don't remember which one this is.
So this is an episode where, without spoiling anything, serious, although you find out pretty early, it happens shortly after a close friend of the president's is killed, and it takes place basically partially at this church during the funeral service. And while this is going on, the president is also dealing with a personal crisis that has come out to the public. He's dealing with the scandal. So it's all these different things going on at once. And it features a monologue in the middle of the episode, which is, I think, probably one of the big reasons that it's sold me onto the show in the first place. So check it out. Two Cathedrals, In Excelsis Deo. Watch those 2 episodes, and then maybe start watching it if you like those from the beginning.
It's such a good show.
It is a really good show.
But
Really,
why have 2 cathedrals when you could instead have Tuca Rask?
because it'll pay off if you take a Rask.
That backhanded dig.
Yeah, no, I really like that show.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen on that show is
As
fantastic.
President Bartlett. Yeah,
Yeah.
really well cast.
He's like the president that we deserve a president like him.
Yeah,
like
President Bartlett.
just a great character. And then what's his name? The what's his name? The snarky guy whose name is escaping me.
Josh Lyman?
Snarky McSnarkerson.
Gosh, yeah, that's Bradley
I think
Whitford.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Bradley Whitford, famously of Billy Madison fame. He plays Eric in Billy Madison,
Did he?
Who the hell is Eric?
the guy who's trying to take over the company.
Oh, him.
Yeah, that's that guy.
Oh my God.
Bradley Whitford plays Josh
The
Lyman
one
on
with
the
the
West
weird
Wing.
head.
Yes, yes, that's him.
He also played the dad in Get Out, and I did not
Yes,
realize
he
it.
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe if you had told me you were bringing delicious Triscuits along.
Yeah, so check that out.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to recommend, if you haven't seen it yet, I want to recommend the Wonder Woman movie.
I have not.
Because it's been between the previous podcast and this one. It's me.
It's Ben.
It's Ben.
It's just me, Gabe Newell. Between the last podcast and this one, Aubrey and I, Aubrey who has seen it before, we watched Wonder Woman out of the DC Cinematic Universe franchise. It was really good.
Yeah.
I have a standing complaint against DC movies, which is that they have a tendency to take themselves just a bit too seriously for my liking.
Okay.
Moments that when you look at their equivalents in Marvel are at least a little lighthearted, or they have a way of getting some characterization in there that kind of takes a bit of the tension off of the viewer, in a way that would otherwise be
Mostly they just start talking about shawarma.
shawarma.
Right.
Yeah, Iron Man almost dies and he starts talking about shawarma. Captain America after the heartbreaking finale. If you don't know the story of Captain America by now, like, come on.
Yeah.
So I don't consider this a spoiler for the first Avenger. He crash lands, he gets frozen, he wakes up in our time, and Nick Fury, he's in Times Square in the modern day, and Nick Fury, asks him if he's all right, and Cap just says, "I had a date," which is just levitus enough to kind of lift the tension a little bit, but not enough to break the seriousness of the mood. DC is all seriousness.
Yeah, they don't really do that kind of thing.
They've got a couple yucks in there, mostly directed towards what life was like for women in the 1910s.
Hilarious.
I mean, I guess I kind of give them props for that, though, because they're not trying to be Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, if you
Sure.
went in and you tried to, do the same formula that they do, maybe it would be disingenuous and just not come across the right way. But I get that,
Sure.
too. I like the more lighthearted thing, too.
It feels a bit weird juxtaposed against the more fantastical elements of something like a centuries old Greek Amazon suddenly coming into our world and blocking bullets with her wrists.
Yeah.
There's I don't know. I feel like comics by their nature are supposed to have a little levity here and there, in order to keep things kind of fresh and interesting. But I don't know. I feel for my tastes, DC takes themselves a bit too seriously.
Yeah.
For them, it works. It's just not personally my preferred output for a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, enough about my complaints. The movie, the actual movie itself is just fucking fantastic.
Yeah, we saw it in theaters, I think, and we really enjoyed it.
It was really good.
The way Amazonian culture represents women of all ages in particular, and all races and everything is refreshing, because you don't often see too many you know, like older women in like, you know, warrior kind of roles, you know, and it was really cool to see that happen.
Robin Wright was in that movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she plays the general, I think.
Yeah.
She plays the president's wife.
It's like the queen's sister, right?
Yes.
The one who like kind of trains Diana. Yeah.
Yeah, because she kind of goes behind her mom's back to get trained at first.
Right. Yeah, and that's something you don't see too much of, and that was really refreshing to see. And it, even being in like a fish out of water kind of character, you know, Diana is never like incompetent, and neither is what's his face, Chris Pine. You know, neither is Chris Pine's character.
Yeah.
No one's like truly incompetent, but there's obviously some, you know, clashes and misunderstandings. It's just it fits right in that perfect middle ground, you know, of where, you know, you can get some humor out of that, but it's still like, you know, both of the leads are obviously very, you know, competent at what they do and very, you know, strong and relatable characters.
It's really refreshing to see like a female character who's a lead female character be like confident and competent and know what she's doing and like not really question that, because so much of the time the way female characters are written are not always as a lead and oftentimes as being like, oh, save me, or what do we do now?
Yeah.
Or, you know, that kind of thing.
Diana, as she's written in Wonder Woman, has a very clear sense of like conviction and you know, a very unwavering sense of what her principles are.
Yeah.
And doesn't really deviate from that ever, which is what you want in a superhero.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that movie also had this scene that I'll never forget, where they were like in a foxhole or a trench, and then she like walks out into gunfire.
They haven't been able to advance across no man's land for like what, like 2 years or something like
she
that.
just like deflects bullets with her armbands or whatever.
And then whips out the shield when they bring out the machine guns and just like stands there, you know,
So
just bearing it. And
Yeah.
it's super cool.
It's like an unforgettable
I want to
sequence.
watch that movie again now.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should.
I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan in general, and that movie in particular was great.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have a Wonder Woman sticker on my derby helmet. That's one of the features I will always keep on there.
Yeah.
I really loved Wonder Woman for all the same reasons I loved Captain America, which is that I love war movies, I really like superheroes, and revisionist history is something that really gets my mental gears going.
It's
really,
fun.
really like it.
Yeah.
Butters your muffin, as it were.
It just
It's fun
butters
to
my
think
biscuit
about.
right up.
It's fun to toy with the idea of like, well, what if the explanation for the way things happened wasn't what we know? What if there was another character playing a role? Like,
Yeah,
what if
there's
there
like
was a superhero
There's like
involved?
a shadow
and-
war going on.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Sub recommendation for
Sorry.
Watchmen, because I've been thinking of rereading that as well. The way they treat the Vietnam War with the existence of superheroes on America's side is that we curb stomped the Vietnamese pretty much.
Yeah.
Like that's revisionist history to like the 10th degree.
Yeah.
It gets ridiculous after a while.
I still have never seen nor finished reading Watchmen.
Finish
Same.
reading it
read
first.
it first. Yeah,
Read it first and then watch the movie. The movie's not bad, but
Yeah.
it's not as good as the graphic novel.
there's a lot of characterization that goes missing
Yeah.
in the movie.
Doesn't really butter my muffin.
It doesn't really cheese my bagel.
doesn't marjoram up my cookies.
Anyway,
It doesn't really sauce
to-
my noodle.
to hand it off.
Noodle sauce and aside, who's next?
Do you want to go or?
I believe you said my name.
I
Noodle
believe it
sauce
was.
on the side.
Noodle sauce and aside.
All right.
My recommendation is one I know that Dave has admitted to me he doesn't really understand, but it's a series I am re-listening to because I have them all on audiobook. It's called The Dresden Files.
I've heard of this.
And one of the reasons I really like it is because it's set in Chicago. And at the time I started listening to it,
heard of
I was
this.
living in Chicago and taking public transit a lot. And so that's why I started listening to audiobooks. And essentially, he's like a private detective, but he's a private detective wizard.
it's a lot.
You can start to see where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like kind of a modern fantasy noir kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely got
what
a
I
noir
understand.
feel to it, right down to in some of the audiobooks, like the start of the first chapter, you'll have like noir music playing in the background of it and it'll slowly fade out. But it's got that feel. He's like a chivalrous guy. He's getting himself into trouble all the time. He's helping his friends even when it's just not paying the bills. And it's a little bit formulaic, but I also really, really like it. And I described it to Dave as like, it's like junk food.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
something I'm familiar with and that I know, and that when
Yeah.
I want something on in the background,
You
I
have it.
want to listen to that. And also, it's been years since I listened to it, so I forget a lot of the details of it. So it's sort of still fresh again. It's a good time, but I do recommend it if you're looking for something a little lighthearted, not something very like complicated. You don't want anything that's like super going to challenge you, but you want
Sure.
something interesting. It does involve like magic, and I love the idea that he's like listed in the phone book as a professional wizard. Like he's out there like, I'm a wizard. And it's really funny, especially since I lived in Chicago, to like picture the things he's talking about. I don't want to give too much away, but in one of the books there is a part where I don't know if anyone's been to the Field Museum in Chicago, but they're the ones that have Sue, the dinosaur, the T-Rex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So at one point he kind of reanimates Sue and is riding her around Chicago.
It's really goofy.
Really ridiculous. But in the context of that book, it is what he has to do to protect himself from dying when someone else does this major spell. So he reanimates Sue and rides her around the city and makes her do his bidding while someone else is playing a drum. They have like a polka suit with multiple instruments on it, and they're playing the drums
suit.
with their feet because you need a beat to simulate a heartbeat in order to keep a reanimated
Gasps
creature
in
going.
Polish.
So there's a guy riding on the back of the dinosaur playing a polka suit while they're rampaging the city and beating up bad
Was
guys.
this
with
your
it.
grandpa?
I don't
is
want to
dangerously
say
Polish.
too
He is
much.
very Polish. It is my
but-
grandfather.
Criminally
it
Polish.
might have been my grandpa.
Irreparably Polish.
Polish beyond the point of no return.
That character's
Responsibly Polish.
That character's last name is Butters, and he's a medical examiner, and he is one of my favorite characters.
I bet he's got a lot of muffins.
He butters a lot of muffins,
Oh,
from what
gosh.
I hear.
That's really.
But I recommend the Dresden Files. There's many books in the series, and I recommend the audiobooks because they're read by James Marsters, who's just great. And I don't know, yell at the author because he hasn't come out with a new book in like 5 years and everyone's angry at him. The George R.R. Martin scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that.
All right, I'll make mine quick. I have not finished it either, but I'm going to recommend the third season of True Detective.
yes.
It is freaking
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
It's really well acted. It's really so basically the story centers around two kids who wander off, and they're supposed to come back home by dinner. They don't come back home by dinner, and then like really early on, they begin like search efforts. Like very early in the show, the boy is found, the daughter is not.
You're right.
Very early in the show.
Okay.
It's how the hell do you say his name?
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Okay.
might know him as Remy on House of Cards. For those of you who watched House of Cards.
Yeah.
He's also Copperhead on Luke Cage.
Yes, he was also in the starring role in Moonlight, which won Best Picture a couple years ago. Famously botched at the Oscars.
We
right.
we maybe should have mentioned that too.
Yeah, right.
Maybe first.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali.
But it's really, really well written and well acted. It basically follows the season 1 of True Detective formula, where what made that so cool is interviewing the detectives long after the fact, where they're having to recount all of the story that you're watching. And I think they abandoned that in season 2.
They did, which is why season and for that matter, they fired their or didn't fire, but the head writer that wrote the original didn't write season 2.
Yeah.
And the cinematographer who did season 1 didn't do season 2, which I think has both of which have changed for season 3. So we're back to formula.
I started watching season 2 and I couldn't
It's not
get
good.
into it.
It's not horrible. It was watchable through the whole thing. It's just it doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't
That
make
is
any
something
sense.
that would drive me crazy because when I start something, I like to watch it all the way through, and that idea of like picking and choosing a season really makes me anxious.
That's how I felt. That's why I started watching.
And the thing is, like, each season of this show is a mini series in itself because it's a separate story.
So I haven't watched it. So is each season based around like one main case?
Yeah, one case, one set of detectives or one set of circumstances.
Correct.
Okay, so the set of detectives in season 1 is not the same as the other seasons.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Oh,
Season 1 had Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
okay.
as-
That's why I was confused when I came over the other day
Yeah.
and you were watching it because I was like, "That's not Matthew McConaughey."
Also, let's just say, I think we've recommended this before. Watch the first season of True Detective as well.
So
because
good.
it's very good.
I
Very
do
good.
want to watch this show.
It's good. It's very dark, so be prepared.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, generally,
it's it's dark in my head anyway. I can
Yeah.
take it.
it's a show that centers around terrible things happening
Yes.
to children in particular. So
Yeah.
it's like by just at the start of it, it's dark.
I mean, I don't want to brag, but I watched a lot of SVU.
Law and Order, the SUV.
I don't want to brag, but I've thrown days of my life away watching Law and Order.
I'm practically a detective now.
Yeah, watch it. It's really good. I have yet to see the finale, but I've seen every episode leading up
Yeah.
to that, and I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm nervous about what they're gonna make me see.
I know, right? I know, because where they left it is like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You left out the part of this season that makes it so interesting.
Oh yeah.
The story is told by Mahershala Ali's character
As an old man.
as an old man, essentially going through dementia, going through Alzheimer's, and losing his memory and trying to piece it back together.
Oh gosh.
So the story's told throughout 3 distinct time periods. The time periods where he's an old man trying to remember the story, the time period at the very beginning when the case first started and how it began, and then a time period in the middle where the case was reopened after it had
Oh
closed.
man.
So it's him piecing everything together, and
it's really tragic.
yeah, it is very sad. And he plays 3 distinct characters at each different time frame, kind of the same way that Matthew McConaughey did in season 1. Russ Cole at the beginning of the series is a very different person than Russ Cole being interviewed.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very strange to see that. And there's one part in like the 4th episode that I found to be like particularly bone chilling.
4th episode.
It's him like as an older man in his office, and the dementia starts to creep in.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil anything because the shot is just so.
There's so much I don't want to talk about
I
because
know.
it's just got to be experienced as it is.
Yeah, the shot that they filmed there is just so completely and utterly and totally well done that it bears seeing. It's worth looking at.
Definitely watch True Detective
Yes.
season 3. It is that good.
Yeah.
All right.
We just lost Ben, but it's time to do what we learned.
Yeah.
All right.
So we could either jump right into this or we could stall.
We could
We could stall. How y'all feel about butter and muffins? I'm sorry. That's the theme of this third
Never
segment.
have too much cheese, no you can. Never have too much cheese, no you can. Never have too much cheese, no you can. Never have too much cheese.
I'm working on the building.
Those guys are great.
Do they have a channel?
I don't know. I
don't
can't
know.
remember what they're called. But they're like acapella guys,
Yeah.
right? Like I think they're
So
actually
you guys kept saying like it's in an office. I thought it was in their apartment or something.
well,
I
the
didn't realize
too
it
much
was in an
cheese
office.
video is.
I thought the building one was also in their apartment, but
It might be.
Their channel is, unless I'm mistaken, it's called the Pep Boys and Grimace.
The Pep Boys.
So essentially, what we're talking about is YouTube videos where these dudes are just singing weird acapella songs.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that I'm right about this, but I'm pretty sure that the channel is called the Pep Boy. Yeah, it is the Pep Boys and Grimace.
Side recommendation while we're stalling for
Yeah.
time.
I know. Well, just since we're doing that,
Yeah. You try to pull up.
To narrate what's happening, it's someone spinning around in a chair while singing,
Yeah, right.
and then falling out of the
Right.
chair.
yeah, that's not going to translate as audio. That
Yeah,
won't
but
make
just
that
so
won't
you
make
know
any
what we're
sense.
referencing to, because we make so many stupid ass jokes on the show that nobody has any fucking idea what we're talking
Nobody
about.
knows what that is.
Nobody knows what that is.
Also, nobody knows what that is something that nobody knows what that is. We have to.
Where's that from?
I think that's just us.
It just started.
That was all. That was all. I think Aubrey came up with that when
Yeah.
she was a guest on the show. It's just like nobody.
Sounds right.
Nobody knows what that is.
Like we pull aside to the microphone when we're making inside jokes that people don't get.
God, our bad jokes are like recursive.
Yeah, I know.
We have layers of
Well,
Dave and
bad
I
jokes.
often joke that as a couple we have ruined each other.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if we ever were to break up and need to try to become dateable
Dateable.
again,
It's impossible.
It's impossible. I think as a friend group we've done that to each
Yeah,
other
there's
too.
there's no other
and
friends.
we keep roping more people into
Yeah,
it.
I know. Yeah, somehow.
Like our D&D group is being folded into this.
Yeah.
Dan has started coming to
Yeah.
movie nights.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan, you're ruined for
Yeah,
any
sorry.
other friends.
We fucked you so hard.
We're basically maladapting each other on a regular basis.
Right.
I like it. I'm into it.
Anyway,
We could continue stalling, but let's not.
Yeah,
Let's talk about what we learned.
What did we learn today?
I learned that the slightly effeminate Latino man says you're not good.
You're
not good.
You're not very good. You think you're
I
good.
miss him.
You're not as good as I'll bring him back. Well, we can turn this franchise around, son. I'll bring him back. Don't worry. I learned that we should all just stop being friends.
I learned that this friendship is over.
It's over. As soon as I'm done eating my dinner and finishing this podcast, I'm out forever.
I learned that well-adjusted
Good luck
people,
making other friends, bud.
That's never gonna happen now.
I learned that well-adjusted people are not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Same.
I
Well,
don't know how to relate to
that's
them.
good.
Same.
Oh god. I wrote wiggly brain import.
I wrote, does your neck waddle? Because mine has a top hat and a cane.
Yeah, I have your neck can just walk away from you, so you got to protect that shit with neck pubes.
Some neck pubes.
Neck pubes.
Neck pubes. I
From
learned
Roger Sickbastard.
Please. That would be perfect.
The inventor of neck pubes.
Yeah.
Hi, hello. He's not here right now. I can't bring him into this.
I learned if you want cocaine, you got to get yourself a pack mule.
That's
apparently.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, not a drug
I
mule.
learned that you probably got coke in there.
You got coke in there.
Yeah, what's really going on in here?
Yeah, you don't need food.
Yeah. Drink it.
I wrote Polymer Clay, a right dickhead.
Infamous
dickhead.
clay prospector Polymer Clay.
I learned that the length of the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the lengths of its legs.
You didn't learn that here.
No?
No?
Oh, where was that?
High school, I think.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
I learned
Wrote
that,
that down.
Did you really?
I learned that we know a lot about Little Caesars
Yeah.
Yes, we
Maybe
do.
too much.
and also Low Pleasies Mermeesies.
Little pleasies with the extra most beezy.
I wrote down the siren song of a little pleasy peatsy treatsy.
I wrote the inside of the PetSmart puppy costume smells like shit.
I
The
wrote
worst.
I wrote cameling, the new way to smuggle drugs.
Just sewing things subdermally.
It's like making me think of, oh god, what's the movie where they sew the people together?
Human
the human
Centipede.
centipede.
Human Centipede,
That's like
yeah.
the human camel. It's just
The
gonna
human-
sew humps onto people and make them smuggle drugs.
Like anyone's gonna not
Humps
notice.
of cocaine. Hey, everybody, it's Benjamin
Ben's
Reese.
back. We tried to stall for a long time.
I apologize. I didn't want you to stall for me.
That's all right.
No, you're fine. We
you learn
we did
anything?
it. What did you learn?
I learned that credit card companies actually do want to help.
Yes.
Best Buy might sell cocaine. Clay barons of the Old West. And that shaker borders are sirens in a sea of cars.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, well done. So-
I also hold on one more thing. I wrote, I don't want to brag, but I'm basically Mariska Hargitay.
Humble brag.
Hashtag humble brag.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
I think that's it.
That might be it.
Kristy, thank you
That's
for hosting
it?
this episode.
Yes.
You did
Oh,
a
you're
fine
so
job.
welcome.
Thank you for bailing us out.
Yes. So we didn't have to do
Hey,
anything.
I know how we feel when we have guests on Goose Chase. It's a beautiful, beautiful
Oh,
feeling.
it is. It's like a free pass for the week.
Yep, it's so good.
So yeah, that was great. We'll I guess let's wrap it up and we'll be back probably in a couple of weeks, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Whenever we get together again.
Yeah, whenever we at our soonest availability, we will be back to do
Yes.
more Dude Cast.
More of this shit.
At which point I'm host. Oh, I get my first host. Well, I mean, maybe.
I think I'm next.
You're next. Yeah, because Kristy hosted this time.
Yeah, I was-
Well,
it
we're
was-
going to skip you.
Yeah, I'm
We're
here.
done. We're
You
gonna
can skip
you.
me. That's fine.
Unless, of course, we have a guest on, in which case,
Chris-
fuck you. You don't
Chris,
get
you've
one.
already forgotten that I'm here and
I
I'm
know.
still here.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I have to finish
This
dinner
is
before
why
I can.
we're not friends
Yeah.
anymore.
As soon as I finish my pizza, I'm out of everybody's life. It's done. We're done.
All
right, we'll
yeah.
be back.
So
It's gonna be real awkward because we're all in your wedding.
Yes.
This is true.
Yes.
so we'll see you guys
Yep.
in a couple of weeks.
Special shout out to Roger Sickbastard for sponsoring this episode.
Yes, as always, our constant benefactor.
Yep.
Such a
Inventor of-
kind, generous man.
Man.
I think he's a man.
Man.
Monster.
Monster.
Man is a bit of a strong word. Isn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inventor of neck pubes. All right. We'll,
Neck pubes.
We'll be back next time, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
it? But.